You're listening to Maximum Medicine Radio with host Doc Martin. Stay tuned in or call in. You won't want to miss what's happening next. How do you step into your maximum potential? How do you connect your spiritual drive with your physical path? Stick around as Doc Martin takes listeners on a journey through the seen and unseen, the accepted and the unbelievable. Get ready to meet the maximum you the world needs on Maximum Medicine Radio with Doc Martin now. Hi, everybody. I'm Doc Martin. This is Maximum Medicine. I'm here with my guest, my friend, my teacher, Sharon Klingler, and I'll tell you all about her in a minute. But we're so excited because happy 2023. Bye-bye 22. Don't let the screen door hit you because we don't need you anymore. So this year, we're going to talk about this towards the end of the hour. But this year it has got a new energy. We like that. And just a reminder, we take callers. So 1-800-930-2819. And throughout the episode, if you want to call, Sharon is going to talk to us today about ancestors. And we're talking about ancestors in the spirit world. So if you want to hear something about your ancestors or have a question, that's what we're going to handle today. So Sharon, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much, Sharon, for having me. It's such a pleasure to be with you. I've known you so long. You've made such a contribution to so many, and I'm so excited about your new book coming out in 2023. So I know you're headed to make a contribution to so many more.
Good. Thank you for that. So everybody, Sharon Klingler is one of those people who was gifted with clairvoyancy. She was gifted with mediumship. She attributes it to being an identical twin. Her sister, Sandra Taylor, is also a Hay House author, as is Sharon. And Sharon, I met, almost 20 years ago in Lilydale, which is the most fabulous energy place. It's a spiritualist community in Western New York. And I've taken classes from her. So she's taught me about the tarot, and she's a very good writer, world-renowned Hay House writer. And she wrote about gemstones. She and her sister came up with a tarot deck called the Akashic Tarot. That should be another show because that deck is filled with spirit and grace. It is so beautiful. But her book that we're talking about tonight is Answers from the Ancestral Realm. And that's going to be about ancestors and how they influence us. And we think if you're passed on, you're gone, you might have a memory, you might miss them, and you think you're not in contact. Well, I'm here to tell you, Sharon's here to tell you that's not true. So Sharon, talk first about your clairvoyancy. Like how old were you when you figured it out or you recognized you knew things?
Well, I have to say, you said that I was gifted, but I really do have to say a lot of people have a natural talent to clairvoyance, but I don't really believe that it's because you're born with it. Some people think that they're born with it, but I actually think it's because you might have a higher proclivity toward it because you've probably done it a lot in past lives. Okay. Like Mozart did the piano really, really well when he was a kid. But he might have been born with that gift, but probably because he played and played and played and played previous lifetime. So, but I think that everyone can learn to connect with spirit. Everyone can learn to talk to spirit because everyone is spirit, But I do feel that my sister and I, being identical twins, grew up with a sense of having we just kind of felt like tra- uh, communication, telepathic communication was a natural thing because we had it with each other. And so we didn't know everybody didn't do that. We just thought everybody did. So, but it wasn't necessarily a clairvoyant thing. It wasn't a visual thing so much as it was a knowing thing. My experience was clairvoyant. I started reading tarot when I was 14, and that was a very natural thing then, because tarot is very visual, obviously. And but Sandy and I kind of grew up, knowing what was happening to each other, knowing the end of each other's sentences, knowing how the other was feeling even when we weren't in the same place. So that was a very natural thing for us. Mhm.
Well, one thing that you've always done is taught others how to amplify that talent. If you just have a very talent in its infancy, you work up at Lilydale and help teach young psychics how to hone their gifts, how to be more accurate, how to be ethical, how to bring it forward. So I do believe, as you have shown me in your teaching, that you can teach that with practice.
Absolutely. That's why I say I don't want people to think, oh, this person was born with it or that person, so I can't do it. Everyone can do it. Everyone can practice it. It's like playing the piano. Like I said, some people have a more native talent and could sit down and play more easily. Some people have to do the finger exercises more easily. And really, it's kind of like the finger exercises for a piano. Some of the exercises are very simple. And that was my intention with this book, Answers from the Ancestral Realms, to make the methods very, very simple, very easy, very quick, fast, easy techniques. And I'm very surprised and very pleased because I've gotten a bunch of people have given this to people who wouldn't have even thought I want to even talk to my spirit people. And they started to read it and do the exercises, and it was not even within their frame of mind. And here they are talking to grandma and grandpa. And yet I've also heard from professional mediums who say, some of these exercises are so quick and easy. I would have never thought to do them, but boy, it's, taken me beyond, all of the steps that I had thought I had to go through to get to spirit. And now I just like it opens the door real fast for me. So it's we make things harder than they need to be. And isn't that the human way? We really do make things harder than they need to be. And it was my intention with this book to make it easy peasy, quick and easy. So, yeah.
And maybe that's the human mind. We do so much gyrations. It's
Yeah.
sort of like, I'm reflecting on it, sort of like energy medicine. We think that we have to do a certain process or hold the pendulum a certain way, or I'll just tell a quick thing I remember before we take a break. Frank Fool's Crow was a Lakota Sioux medicine man. He was probably born in 1880 and died in 1980. He was interviewed by a Lutheran minister and his biography taken, and he brought his clients into his teepee for 4 days. And so this minister, when he was interviewing him, said, "Why 4 days?" And Frank told Thomas Mayles, the biographer, God doesn't take 4 days, but the person, I'm paraphrasing, has to basically warm up to it.
Uh-huh.
So I think energy spirit is zap. That's and we are the ones who have to, and in modern new age energy terms, we'd probably say raise our vibration. But so, well, we're going to take a short break. I want to remind everybody, please call 1-800-930-2819. I have Sharon Klingler here. We're going to talk more about her book, Answers from the Ancestral Realm, and we'll be right back. Hi, everybody. This is Maximum Medicine. I'm Doc Martin. I'm here with Sharon Klingler, clairvoyant, spiritual medium, author, teacher. We're talking about her new book, Answers from the Ancestral Realm. And remember, if you guys want to call, you want Sharon to explain anything to you, 800-930-2819. So Sharon, why ancestors? You always teach about spirit and the availability of spirit to humans. Why ancestors? And maybe even why now?
Well, I've been teaching about spirit for many, many, many years. But I wanted people to understand, and in my classes, of course, I've taught about how there are different types of spirit. But people don't understand that the word ancestor literally means those who have gone before. So everybody believes that ancestors are those who have gone before us in our biological family. And of course, that is correct. Great grandpa, great grandma, our aunts, uncles, those who have gone before us in our biological family are our family ancestors. But we also have those who have gone before us in a lot of different arenas. We have our ancestral guides of purpose. For instance, if you're writing a book, we have those who have gone before us who were writers. And when we're writing a book, our writing energy starts to kind of go into our aura and then express through our aura out into the spirit world. And spirits who wrote books see that aura and it shines like a beacon in the night into the spirit world. And they say, oh, she's writing a book. Let me go help. I want to go participate. And so it draws the writers to us. Or if we are financiers, and we're investing and we're capitalists and we're investing in the stock market, or we're doing this and that in different kinds of financial arrangements, that goes into our aura, and we'll call those who have gone before us in the financial world. Commodore Cornelius Vanderbilt once asked, he's lost a lot of money in finance, but he got a lot of money in finance too. And he was once asked, how do you make so much money? How do you know what decisions to make? And his response was, do as I do, consult the spirits. He was in the age of spiritualism, and he even worked with a couple of mediums, including Victoria Woodhull. But he also meditated and connected with spirits on his own. So those who have gone before us, there's ancestral guides that are family ancestral guides. There are ancestral guides that belong to the cultures and to the territories that don't necessarily belong to our families, but are cultural. I call these our lands. I call these our ancestors. And then there are the ones that carry the same purposes we hold, like the writers, or if we are dancers, or if we are playwrights or sculptors or painters, or all of those types of things. And then there are group ancestors. For instance, if we're Freemasons, those who have gone before us in the Freemasons or in spiritualist churches, churches or in other organizations. Those are our group ancestors. So we have ancestors, the people who have gone, the forerunners, the foregoers who have gone before us in all these different things. Pretty much all of the people in the spirit world are those who have gone before and want to help us and to bring us their guidance and assistance. So they are our spirit guides, and they're spirit guides at every level.
So one of the things I'm just drawn to connect here, I love studying the indigenous spirituality. And one of the places that I love to visit is South Central Mexico in the high desert. And I was reflecting recently, why do I love it there? Well, each village is very much connected to their land and their ancestors. And the young people have brought back or brought forward the traditional textiles, the weavings, the organic pigments, the carvings of the copal tree with the fantastical mythical animals called alebrijes. And they are still drawing that cultural and land energies forward in their artisanship. And and in Peru, they are also very connected to the mountain of their spirit world. And so I love that. I think we are all connected in a way to land. Those of us who live in the city may not know that as much, but I think we're drawn there. So I love that connection.
So what may be happening for you?
Go ahead.
What may be happening for you is that you could be connecting to your ancestors of land. If you have any connections to that land, it could be some past life ancestors if you had some past lives in that land as well. Mm-hmm. And you could be also having purpose ancestors because you have purpose from that area that goes back to that area. So there's overlay in our ancestry that goes back, can go back many, many times. And of course, we have hundreds of past lives because, of course, the planet has been here a long time. And we don't only have one or two past lives. We come many, many times, and we incarnate not with the same family or in the same location by any stretch of the imagination. We go hither and thither because we want to have different experiences with different people. So, yeah.
So why tap into the ancestors now? What is the value for us today in our current world? How does that help us?
Oh, there are so many different things. So many different things. First of all, we each want to bring ourselves to a higher place. And as you said before, a higher vibratory frequency, a higher vibration. So that would require us to bring about some ancestral and karmic healing. So we want to work with our ancestors, both our biological ancestors, our fathers, mothers, grandparents, and indeed our cultural ancestors, to work on some karmic and ancestral healing. But we also want to work with our purpose ancestors and our higher guides to help lift our vibratory frequency and bring a vibratory frequency upliftment, share that with our groups and the planet so that we can bring that, help the planet through. It's such a difficult time these days. So, we're all bringing healing to ourselves and to each other and to the planet, and also to uplift ourselves too in our psychic work, our healing work, and our higher vision.
And you said something very true. We really need an uplifting in our planet right now. Mm-hmm. And we have to be careful we don't devolve And so connection to spirit is so critical. And in this case, we have, as you say, as you show in your book, multiple levels and layers of guides with whom we can connect.
Right, right. And it's such a very sad thing that the spirit world, even just the family, even if you just look at the family, and they're knocking and knocking and knocking at the door, and everybody's just going through their life, busy as bees. And the family want to interact with us, carry on the relationships, let us have conscious dialogues with them, participate with us in our lives, help give us guidance. Now, they do give us guidance. They know what we need. They can see around the bend of time a little better than we can. It's not like there's predetermination. There's no preset absolutes. There's always free will. So they drop information into our mind and we think it's our idea. So that's the only way they can get the information through to people who don't meditate or who talk to them. But it's so frustrating for them, because they're sitting in the kitchen with us or whatever, and they're talking to us. And boy, would they like to be able to have us know that they're here. And isn't it sad for us to not to, say, hey, my brother's here, my dad's here, and we can talk to them and we can feel them and we can feel their embrace. It's like somebody calling from California and us never picking up the phone. You know what I mean? And and it just
so what you're saying is they are there, ready and willing, and really want to help.
Yes, they are.
And so we're going to take a short break in a minute. But when we come back, maybe you can tell the listeners ways that they can open that window or open that door and hear and start to connect. When you think about it, if we've got all of that cultural, past life, biologic, ancestors, think of the resources that we have access to. Holy moly. Life should be a whole lot easier.
Right.
So let's take a short break. And when we come back, Sharon will tell us, how do we make that springboard connection to spirit? Let's do that when we come back. We'll take a short break. Okay, everybody, we're back. I'm Doc Martin, Maximum Medicine, here with Sharon Klingler, and we're talking about connecting to the spirit realm specifically for our ancestors, biologic, cultural, past life, related to the land. And I was telling her, and I think will make an important point. When I wrote my book, which is coming out in May, Maximize Your Healing Power, my dad was helping me. My dad died maybe 2003. And in life, my dad was he kind of had his problems. And so I asked my sisters and my brother, don't you ever think of Dad? He was helping me with it. I said, we never think of him. He was a turkey. We don't want to think of him. And so, Sharon, for me, when I connect with him, I don't see any of that. So I'm not afraid to connect because I don't see his human flaws. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and the reason you don't see his human flaws is because when we pass, we move immediately into our divine eternal souls. And the ego doesn't survive the death of the body. Freud called the ego the executive of the personality. And the personality is that part of ourselves that is temporary. The ego does commerce with the physical world. These are Freud's terms. The ego is there to do commerce with the physical world so that we make sure our body gets fed, clothed, all of that. So when the body dies, the ego ceases to exist, and we move into an immediate consciousness of who we are. We become who we are eternally, our divine eternal souls. And that's why all those near-death experience books say, I never felt so much joy, so much wonder, so much peace, so much love. I didn't want to come back. It's not because of the place. There is no place in the spirit world. The spirit world is not physical, so there's no locality, there's no time. It's because of who we become. We feel love, we feel joy. Now, will all of those people who are poopy, like your father, and that's the technical word, poopy word people, when they come back into the next life, they will have karmic lessons to learn. They will have to deal with that negativity, with those lessons. But those are meant for their personal selves to deal with those karmic lessons. But now he is in his divine self, and he wants to be the father he couldn't be before because he was so narrow-minded and closed off, and he didn't know how to be that person because he wasn't aware of his spirit self. But those poopy people, when they pass, they move into their divine self and they look down and they say, and they feel this love and joy and they say, what was I thinking? Why did I waste those moments? Why did I stand in my ugliness and that personality? And now I'm in my joy and my power, and now I can give. So that's why you don't see his personal self and his ugliness. And that's who he is. He's in his soul, his spirit. And that's who comes to you to help you. So you can always heal with those in the spirit world who were hurtful because they're not being hurtful now, and they want to help us heal. Often when I do readings, some of the first people who come are the ones who want to say they're sorry.
Yes, I've had that happen in readings. Yep. And it's such a good feeling. There's such a moment of forgiveness and recognition that they know what they did wrong, and then it all dissipates. Mm-hmm. So how do we open up? Like, I feel my dad and I connect with him. I sometimes feel my mom, who's also passed. But how do people connect? What's some techniques?
It's really, really easy. It's actually easier than a lot of people make it. Some people say, it's like what you said before. We can make it hard or we can make it easy. You know what I'm saying? I love what Dalai Lama said, and I use it a lot for mediumship and spirit communication. He said, enlightenment takes a long time unless it doesn't. And it's true. Spirit communication takes a long time, or you could do it like this. And that's the truth of it. So the first step is real easy. You invite spirit forward, which is actually kind of redundant because spirit's already with you already. I actually tell people you have a lot less privacy than you think because they're already hanging out with you. But what you really do by inviting them, the act of inviting them really does more than just invite them. It actually sets your intention to be with them. That's really what the invitation is. I invite spirit forward, which really sets my intention to focus my energies to know them, be with them, experience them. So it's kind of like a coin that has two sides, invite and setting intention. So you invite them forward, and they step forward. Those many people are already with you. Now, the next step is that you turn on your right brain. Your right brain is what spirit uses to talk to you, to give you information, to connect with you, to share their message, to share their presence. You can feel them physically, you can see images clairvoyantly, you can get a word, you can get a concept, you can get a lot of things, but usually it's through the right brain that you experience their presence. The left brain, the left parietal lobe, is where you do math, where you observe, where you analyze, where you judge, where you measure. Okay. Judging and measuring is the ego's domain. The ego doesn't have any part in experiencing spirit. But it does make a big part of our conscious experience throughout our days. And when people first start talking to spirit, they spend a lot of time in the left brain. Like, what is this supposed to be like? What am I supposed to expect? Is anything happening? I don't think anything's happening. Nothing's happening. What is going to happen? I don't think that's happening. Okay, am I in my right brain? I don't think I'm in my right brain. All of that's left brain thought. So if you're thinking any thoughts like that, you're not in your right brain. So I say, not only do you have to get into your right brain, you have to activate your right brain. And so what I tell people is actually to create an image. I teach people to use the image of a door, because the image of a door can help actually have spirit step through the door. So, but you can activate the right brain very easily. Everybody, as you're listening, just close your eyes for a second and just see a green apple. Just take a minute and see a green apple, and open your eyes as soon as you get the green apple. Everybody saw a green apple. Now, if you're not clairvoyant or don't tend to be a clairvoyant, even if you didn't see a green apple, you probably saw one in your mind's eye or got an idea of a green apple, because you can conceptually get an idea of a green apple, and that's still your right brain perception. That's a conceptual experience that spirit can give you. You see what I'm saying? So that's step 2. Just step 1 is invite spirit, setting your intention. Step 2 is activate your right brain, which is see a door. Everybody imagine a door right now. Turn on your imaging brain by imagine a door right now. Let yourself see it. Some of you see a Dutch door, some of you see a big door, some of you see a double door, some of you see a black door, a gray door, a red door, a white door, whatever it is. Just see a door. And then the last one is trust everything you get. Now that's the biggest step, because people don't trust what they get. Like even the people who imagine the door, and then I'll direct them to see spirit come through the door, and they might even see their father or their grandmother or whatever have you. They'll say, oh, I just imagined that. I must be making it up, because it comes through the imaging side of the brain, the imagination. And what I have to tell people and teach people is give your imagination the job. That's what's supposed to do it. It's supposed to feel like your imagination, because that's where it happens. It's the imaging side of the brain. So, and that's where people start to begin the fight. They start the battle between the right brain and the left brain. No, I must be making it up, must be imagining it. And indeed, those are the only 3 steps that are required. But that's what they have to get past, is that battle with I must be making it up.
So I remember when I was doing my training in shamanic medicine, and we were doing readings for people, reading their energy field, just saying what came forward. And the stuff that came forward would be so fantastical. And I would go, this is crazy. They're going to think I'm a wacko if I say this out loud. And I had to constantly say, suspend disbelief, suspend disbelief. Just say it, go ahead and say it. And I swear that the people receiving the information would be in tears or joy, because what I said had meaning to them, and I thought it was wacko. But And so you do have to train, you have to have the discipline. For me, the discipline also was in moving into the feeling realm. I'd always been in the academic, intellectual, analytical, and had to move into the feeling realm and start to sort of get a flash in the left side of my visual field, and then I'd know I better pay attention, get a little twingy in the gut kind of thing. But yeah, it did take me being disciplined and being courageous enough to say out loud what I saw.
Right.
And then you go, cool. All right, what else are you going to show me?
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
And that's really where every medium, everybody who wants to connect with spirit, everybody who wants to get their messages, and indeed anybody who wants to share their messages with other people, have got to bring themselves as to get beyond the questioning, the doubting, the hesitance, and just dive right in. That's where they have to go.
I love that. So just for everybody to reiterate again, invite, say the intention, I'm ready to talk.
Yes, I invite spirit forward. And with that, know that sets your intention. You don't even have to say the intention. Know it in your heart. When I invite spirit, I intend to be with spirit. That's all there is to it. They are the same two sides of the exact same coin. And
And
then
then,
activate the right brain, which means
so get
create,
images.
even if you don't see an image, it could be a mental idea, could be
And
concept.
for you, that's the door is sort of the symbolic, I'm moving to my right brain.
Mhm.
And then
Trust
quit
everything.
doubting yourself. Quit the
Trust
jibber
everything.
jabber that says, no way, you must be Looney Tune.
Right.
Cool. All right, we're going to take a short break. And everybody, when we come back in the last quarter of this episode, we're going to talk some about the energies of the new year. So we'll be right back. Hi, everybody, we're back. Maximum Medicine. The hour is going too fast, Sharon. I just, holy moly. We want to tell you a few good, wonderful things before the hour ends. So, Sharon, let's just remind people about the ancestral and karmic healing and those. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's, there are a lot of there's a lot of overlapping between ancestral and karmic healing, because of course, when you're often working with your own ancestors, when you have karmic patterns to heal, you have your father, you have your grandfather. I can't count the number of times when uh, I'm doing a reading, and a father will come forward, and he hesitates to come forward. That's one of the first signs that I get when I see somebody who wants to say they're sorry, when I have to pull them forward. And that means that they want to say they're sorry. And so father wants to say sorry, and then his father steps forward, and then his father steps forward, and they say they're sorry. And they're sorry because they played a part in how their son was raised, and how they became who they became, and what they learned in becoming a man, or becoming who they behaved, or becoming alcoholic, or whatever have you. See what I'm saying? So
Right.
the different generations had passed on some different things. I can't really count how many times that's happened before. So a karmic healing with someone from above you, your father or your mother or whatever have you, that actually has gone through the generations before. So there's ancestral healing, but it's also karmic, because you can have a karmic pattern with not only this person, but you may have had, like, if you have become say a submissive person, and a diminishment, had created a diminishment of your own self-worth because of how this person treated you. it's very likely that in a past life, even if you weren't with this specific person, you probably had that submissive and dismissive relationship with somebody else, and you created that pattern before, and you created that pattern before that, and you created that pattern before that. I guarantee you that if you have any relationship in this life, whether it be even with boyfriends or husbands or that type of thing, if you can see a pattern, an emotional pattern in this lifetime that is one of a negative type thing where you're wounded or feeling wounded, it's very likely that you've had a number of past lives where that's happened before. So it could be ancestral as well as karmic. And so in my book, Answers from the Ancestral Realm, there's a number of chapters that are that give you the tools for karmic and ancestral healing and about breaking those patterns. But what you want to do is, first of all, you want to be able to catch the pattern, and you want to be able to recognize when you're responding over and over and over again in the same fashion, even when it's with different people, because we do that. I know, Sharon, that you've seen that with your own clients, that they don't have to be with the same person to do the same behavior. And so when we do that, we have to catch ourselves and start to respond first and foremost with a self-honoring way, and start to create new affirmations, and new, actually, I call them declarations, because we need to do have stronger considerations in changing our minds.
So tell people, and Colton, when she says the website, maybe you could later, when we edit the video, put it up on the screen. Tell people how to order your book. Oh. And you do have bonuses. You have lots of gifts.
Yes, we're still doing the launch. So we have like hundreds of dollars of free downloadable meditations, visualizations, workshops, lectures, that type of thing. And so if you go to the website, ancestralrealmsbook.com, ancestralrealmsbook.com. You'll see the instructions there on how to get all these wonderful gifts, these free downloads that will be able to, you'll be able to follow the instructions, very easy instructions. You'll get the book, and then you can put your receipt number in, go back to that website, and you'll be able to put your receipt number in the field there, and then you'll be able to get all the download gifts. So, but one of the things you really have to do with this healing, this ancestral healing, is you have to stop thinking the same thoughts over and over. We're in an endless loop, and we can do meditations and we can do journaling, but we have to stop the endless loop of negative self-talk. And I know you've seen that too with your clients and your patients. And I call that, we have information, but I call it infirmation, where we infirm our lives. We literally make ourselves sick with the negative thoughts, where we relive the negative history over and over and over and over, where we're angry, hurt, and those are infirm, INFIRM, informations, where we relive the thoughts over and over and over. And you have to change that. And that's why journaling is so important. You have to start with new thoughts and new words. And I hate to pitch a whole nother book, but that goes back to my book, Power Words.
Hey, we have, maybe 5 minutes left, maybe 4. Okay. Tell us what you have been told, intuited, been given messages about 2023. Okay. Are there some tidbits for us?
Okay. Yes. 2023 is actually an very good up year, but we have to utilize the up energy. Okay. So 2023 is a 7-year numerologically. Okay. So, so now you have to, if you want to figure numerology, we don't have time to teach you that, but you can add your birthday, your month and day of your birth to number 7, and then you can figure that out. But a 7-year in general is stepping on a higher spiritual path for yourself. So make sure that whenever you make a decision in 2023, you also ask yourself, where does this decision take me in a spiritual endeavor? I mean, even if you're making a decision in your job, if you're making a decision with your family, ask yourself, what higher spiritual insight, higher spiritual vision, higher spiritual relationship does this make in my life? Because this is why it is an up year for us all, because this can bring us greater spiritual power, and we can also utilize greater spiritual power in our lives, and indeed have a higher vibratory frequency of greater spiritual power in our relationships, in our work, and even in our leisure time. And this doesn't mean that we can't have fun and, can't have sex or, can't eat cake. We can have all of the good stuff. We can have all of the fun stuff, but we can also have a heightened realization of greater truth and greater camaraderie and greater kinship of our spirit connectedness and our kinship to our brothers and sisters in the ashrams in which we work. And this is where we can go.
And this is what we really need for the world, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's
so we need it. We're gonna finish up here, but so everybody, if this is a high potential spiritual year, and it's your chance to really activate that in yourself, Sharon Klingler's new book will help you connect. Answers from the Ancestral Realm, teach you how to connect, open the door to spirit. Then you can really amplify your spiritual energy, and you can do what I love, and that is bring your gifts forward for the world, because we're going to make this world better this year. Sharon, thank you so much for being here tonight.
God bless you. Thank you so much, Sharon. It's wonderful to be here.
All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you, Sharon Klingler. Make sure you check out her book, Answers from the Ancestral Realm, and we'll be back next month on Maximum Medicine. Good night, everybody.
You've been listening to Maximum Medicine Radio with Doc Martin. Tune in next time while the doc talks health, spirituality, and the impact your beliefs have on every part of who you are, body and soul. Doc Martin unpacks the challenges we face as human beings and teaches callers to open the door between the scientific and the mystical. To learn more about Doc Martin and Maximum Medicine, visit www.sharonmartinmd.com.